Testing.
Testing.
Okay, great. That works. Okay, so today is Tuesday, the 16th of April, 2024. Time is 20:51. So it's almost 9 o'clock. Um, and I wasn't on yesterday because I had a busy day. Um, and I thought about creating like a recap thing before I get into chapter 3. The thing is that I've done a lot, so uh, doing a recap from everything I've done might take a while, but whenever I complete each chapter, I will be able to do a recap. The recaps will be much shorter. Of course, I'll only be doing the recaps, after each chapter is finished. So that means the next recap I'll be doing will be after I've completed chapter 3 with the Jedi Knight here. So let's get stuck in, because there is a lot to read, and I've typed out, I've copied and pasted, but fixed things and moved words about and everything, and also typed in some words of my own as well. Um, yeah, here we go. Okay, so um, uh, so when I first had an idea of revisiting this game, it was to have just the one playthrough, from start to finish. Originally, I was going to play on the European servers, and the idea was to try and create myself in Star Wars. How where would I go, what would I do, and I thought, right, if I had no powers, I'd probably be a smuggler, civilian, and so I just thought about playing the smuggler um, uh, story, and then uh, then I also created a trooper character because someone requested me to create a Cathar trooper, um, but then I went back to my smuggler, and I kind of randomized the advanced class to see how that would go, but my smuggler ended up getting like trooper based gear. So even though my character was a smuggler, he ended up looking more like a soldier uh, than uh, than a civilian. So yeah, I wasn't really feeling it, and then I also wanted to try and uh, group with players more, um, and uh, well, on the English speaking servers in the European uh, section that I was playing in, uh, you know, most of the players weren't speaking English at all. They were like speaking Russian or Polish or whatever. Um, I don't have an issue with people speaking other languages. I think it's cool, and it kind of fits in with the whole Star Wars universe, um, and it helps with diversity, which is cool. But it's just whenever whenever it comes to like the group things, the group activities. It would be you know, good to like understand people. For you know, the groups. Like if we're going to strategize or something as a group, then it would it would help if uh, you know, everybody could understand each other. Plus, you know, there didn't seem to be that many players on in the European version, and I was thinking, right, that's probably because I'm, you know, up late most of the time. So I thought, you know, it'd probably be better if I played on the American servers. So I switched over to the American servers, and they have like, it had, because I never really played on those servers. I've never really gotten most of the achievements, which is cool because then I can hit the screenshot button every time I earn an achievement. Um, and then I thought, you know what? I what I really like about this game is the whole Revan and Malak and Emperor type story. And I wanted to try and I thought, you know, because this is going to be just the one playthrough, I might as well play as the Jedi Knights story so that I can cover as much story with Revan, Malak, and the Emperor, which is what, you know, the game kind of revolves around. So I created my character, Jedi Knight here, PatrickPearce, and um, like I created him based off of my the the same type of look, the smuggler type look, basically how I sort of looked when I was younger, with more hair. um, so after playing chapter one and getting through half of the main game, I thought, you know what, there's two flashpoints coming up soon, two story flashpoints coming up soon in near the start of chapter two, that talks about Revan and Malak and Bastila and all that. So I thought it would be a great idea to revisit the previous two games. So I played Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2 to cover those stories. Um, uh, Knights of the Old Republic 1 was kind of buggy, but I was able to get through most of it. But then at the near the end, after the Dreadnought Leviathan, it kept crashing at the same location, basically right at the end, as we were escaping on the Ebon Hawk. There was like a cutscene where we'd fight starfighters, would defeat the starfighters, but then after that part, when there's supposed to be a cutscene of the Ebon Hawk again, it kept crashing at that location. I could have found patches or something to fix it, but I couldn't be bothered and just moved on to the second one. So I played as a random female character, because, you know, the first time in the first game I was playing as a light side male. I thought, you know what, I'll play as a female this time. I had no idea that the Jedi Axel in that story was actually called was actually supposed to be in canon a female Jedi called Mitra Surik, and she is the one that is in the Flashpoint. I always thought the Force Ghost was Bastila, that was talking to us, but it was actually Mitra Surik from Knights of the Old Republic 2. So that was cool. So then when I return to Star Wars: The Old Republic, I thought more about the Emperor and uh, Revan Malak, and I thought, you know what, in the Sith warrior side, he ends up that character ends up working for the Emperor, so it might be a good idea to have like two characters, so that there's like a balance to um the story. So at one side you'll have the Jedi Knight who's working to fight against the Emperor, um, and his forces, and on the other side you'll have a Sith warrior who is working for the Emperor and is evil. So I thought that would be interesting. So at first I was going to create a random Sith warrior, um, but then wasn't happy with the results. So I just created her manually. I based her off of my Sith warrior on the European side, who is a human male with like tattoos on his face and bald, called Darth Piranus. So I called her Piranus, and as well, except I changed her skin color, because I thought it would be pretty cool to um, have her skin dark. Um, because I thought, since one character is white, then might as, uh, might as well have like one that is black as well. Um, so I played the prologue in chapter one with her, and then I used the dice to decide who to start chapter two with, and read one. So I played chapter two with the Sith first, and then the Jedi. So then at the end of chapter two with the Jedi, I rolled the dice again and blew one. So that means for chapter three, I'll be playing as the Jedi Knight here, and then once Corelli is finished and chapter three is finished for him, then I'll switch over to the Sith warrior and complete her chapter three. Then I'll roll again to decide who to do the interlude with first, the Jedi or the Sith, and then I'll keep rolling for, chapter 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And yeah, it should be cool. We'll get to see the different dialogue, options as we play both sides. Okay, so let's get stuck into the recap, and it's quite long. I've actually typed out the other ones in advance, but I'll only read what is covered. So there's 111 pages, 31,644 words. My God. You know what? I should get some water. Great. Got a big 2-liter bottle of water right beside me. Might as well take a drink. So, this recap that I'm about to do, it actually is pretty good, because what it does is it kind of it makes sense of some things that may be confusing, like in Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, parts of the story were a bit confusing. So yeah, it's great that this covers that. So yeah, I've tried to keep everything brief, but detailed at the same time. But but still it ended up being 111 pages long. Okay, here we go. Star Wars: The Old Republic. The story so far. Okay, so this game is set in the year 3643 BBY. That's before the Battle of Yavin, and the first movie, Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope. And it also takes place 10 years after the Treaty of Coruscant, which ended the decades-long Great Galactic War. So, first we talk about the trailers. Trailer 1, Return. On a Republic space station orbiting Korriban, two Jedi, Satel Shan and her master, Kao Sen Darak, along with Jace Malcolm and a Republic trooper, are escorting Nico Okar, a smuggler they have captured, who had been smuggling Sith artifacts out of Korriban and keeps on wanting to have his ship back. Suddenly, Satel Shan states that she feels a great darkness. Moments later, a fleet of Sith capital ships and fighters come out of hyperspace and begins to attack the space station. Satel's master immediately recognizes it as the return of the Sith Empire and expresses the need to warn the Republic. There. It's finally connected. Yep, battery's charged. Looking good. Tech issues. Testing. Testing. Okay, good. It works that way. Okay, so it could be that it's the Twitch app. So the Twitch app is having issues on my tablet, but at least it's working fine on my PlayStation. Okay, so back to what I was doing. Yeah, I was about to do a recap. While I was doing a recap, so I'll just start over again. Right, so Star Wars: The Old Republic, the story so far. So, Star Wars: The Old Republic is set in the year 3643 BBY, before the Battle of Yavin, and that's also, so the Battle of Yavin takes place at the end of Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope, which is the first movie in the series. Star Wars: The Old Republic takes place during the Great Galactic War, 3,643 years before the events of the fourth movie, or first movie, depending on the first movie made, but fourth movie in the series. Although I suppose that would be fifth movie, since Rogue One takes place before it. Sixth even, because there's Solo as well, right? But yeah, the very first Star Wars movie, this game takes place like 3,643 years before the events of the Death Star approaching Yavin 4, which is also 10 years after the Treaty of Coruscant, which ended the decades-long Great Galactic War. So before we get stuck in, we have to talk about the three trailers. So in chronological order, it's Return, Hope, and Deceived. So Return takes place at the start of the Great Galactic War. On a Republic space station orbiting Korriban, two Jedi, Satel Shan and her master Kao Sen Darak, along with Jace Malcolm and a Republic trooper, are escorting Nico Okar, a smuggler they have captured, who had been smuggling Sith artifacts out of Korriban and keeps on wanting to have his ship back. Suddenly, Satel Shan states that she feels a great darkness. Moments later, a fleet of Sith capital ships and fighters comes out of hyperspace and begins to attack the space station. Satel's master immediately recognizes it as the return of the Sith Empire and expresses the need to warn the Republic. Because the space station does not have any ship capable of outrunning the Sith, the smuggler suggests using his ship, which supposedly is the fastest in the sector. As the Jedi cleared the hangar area of Sith soldiers, Okar aids the two troopers in fighting off an attack from a Sith boarding party. In the midst of the fight, Malcolm's comrade is killed, and Okar defeats the remaining Sith soldiers while Malcolm closes the door. While preparing to board Okar's ship, a Fury-class Imperial interceptor lands in the hangar, and two Sith emerge. Corporal Malcolm and Okar board the smuggler's ship and prep it for launch, while Satel and her master attempt to hold off the two Sith, Darth Malgus and Lord Vindican, in a heated lightsaber duel. The ship gets off the ground, and the Jedi are able to push the Sith aside momentarily. Kao Sen Darak instructs Satel to escape in the ship, saying, "You must walk a different path," and returns to face the two Sith. Shan throws her master her double-bladed lightsaber and leaves on the ship. Malcolm and Shan man the quad laser cannons aboard Okar's ship as he pilots the craft through an asteroid field, evading Sith fighters. The Jedi Master skillfully duels both Sith, severely wounding the pureblood Vindican by stabbing him in the stomach with one of Shan's lightsaber blades. Malgus takes his wounded master's lightsaber along with his own and re-engages the Zabrak. They fight each other blow for blow. However, Malgus quickly gains the upper hand, and after disarming Master Darak, he finally kills him by slashing him across the chest with both blades. Satel feels his death, but fights on, holding off the Sith long enough for them to make the jump to hyperspace. With the duel over, Malgus approaches his master, telling him that he failed because Okar's ship escaped, and word will go to the Republic that the Sith have returned. Vindican, however, says that this is only the beginning. Malgus says, "Yes, after 1,000 years, Korriban is ours again. Welcome home." Malgus then turns on his lightsaber and kills Vindican. Hope. So this trailer takes place during the middle of the Great Galactic War. A Republic soldier recounts that's Malcolm, recounts the peaceful history of the planet Alderaan and what it had meant to the Galactic Republic. Because of this peacefulness, the world became a target of the resurgent Sith Empire, and in a devastating attack led by the Sith Lord Darth Malgus, the Empire seemed to claim Alderaan for their own. However, several Republic troopers from Havoc Squad are arming themselves in order to strike back at the Sith presence. Though they are outnumbered, the soldiers use the element of surprise to launch an attack from an elevated cliff, raining down fire from blasters and missile launchers, with the unnamed soldier, that's Malcolm, leading the assault. The surprise attack deals a significant blow to the Sith, catching them off guard and allowing for the destruction of several war droids and even Sith warriors caught by fire from blaster rifles and grenades. The Sith fight back, killing several troopers with a combination of lightsaber skills and force powers. When Darth Malgus enters the fray, pulling a trooper to him only to cut him down, the unnamed soldier, again that's Malcolm, leading the attack, charges Malgus alone. The trooper fires 3 shots from his cannon at Malgus, who deflects the first 2, but he is hit by the third in the chest, wounding him, ramming 2 Sith warriors bodily, the trooper attempts to do the same to Malgus, but gets caught in a stream of force lightning. Clearly in pain, the trooper nonetheless draws a knife and struggles to finish his attack on the Sith Lord, but is hurled backward and knocked unconscious. As he's coming to, the trooper is being dragged by his arms to meet his death by a waiting Sith warrior, as numerous other Republic troops meet the same fate all around him. No, I'll be playing as well. I'm just doing like a recap before I get stuck in. Let's see. But just as the Sith moves to inflict the killing stroke, Jedi Knight Satele Shan rescues the soldier and moves to engage the Sith herself, wielding a blue double-bladed lightsaber as she downs the Sith who were only seconds earlier about to kill the trooper. The trooper is able to make it back to his feet, catching a rifle tossed from a nearby comrade before rejoining the battle. Shan carves a swath through the Sith forces, felling Sith warriors and one of their droids before finally clashing with Darth Malgus himself. The two Force users battle with a combination of lightsaber swings and blows from their fists and feet. Malgus uses his overbearing strength to his advantage, forcing Shan to mount a strained defense from her knees. She reaches out and collapses the trunk of a nearby tree, bringing it down right in the middle of their fight and separating the combatants. With the playing field leveled again, Shan leaps onto the fallen tree, where she continues her battle with Malgus until being thrown into another tree. Malgus dives to end the battle and her life, but Shan manages to dodge with a last-second jump, though Malgus is able to slash through her lightsaber and go for a killing thrust. Shan catches the Sith Lord's blade and holds him at bay long enough for the Republic trooper whose life she had saved to return the favour by ramming and tackling Malgus while he is distracted. As the two grapple, Malcolm reveals an armed grenade in his hand, detonating it mere inches from their faces. Both are thrown backward by the explosion, though Malgus climbs to his feet first, his face and armour burned and scored. Before he can retaliate, Shan uses the Force to slam Malgus into a cliff face, driving him deeper with a subsequent blast. And hi, by the way, what server are you on, mate? Satele Shan. It's America. Well, it's North America, but I suppose it also counts for South America as well. The Republic trooper who attacked Malgus with the grenade wakes up as the battle around him comes to a close, his face suffering both burns and lacerations, while his armour shows blackened scars from the blast. As he looks over the battlefield and the dead Republic soldiers, the trooper is joined by Shan and fires a single flare into the sky above the forest. It is accompanied by several others until across the planet the flares can be seen, while at the same time the Republic Navy arrives in orbit above Alderaan. Deceived. So this one takes place at the end of the Great Galactic War and just before the Treaty of Coruscant, where when the game takes place and starts. Deceived. In the year 3653 BBY, a shuttle travels toward Coruscant. At the same time, a black-cloaked figure, Darth Malgus, and his female Twi'lek escort, Elena Daru, move up the steps of the Jedi Temple, where they are met by several members of the Temple security force. Drawing a red lightsaber, Malgus dispatches the guards with a series of quick slashes and the use of the Force. Atop the main entryway, a crouched woman, Shev Vizsla, takes her signal from Malgus and infiltrates an upper level of the temple using her jetpack. Vizsla proceeds to kill several more guards with her blaster before checking the holographic display on her gauntlet, monitoring the progress of the shuttle. Casually striding into the temple, Malgus and Daru are met with well over a dozen Jedi, including Jedi Masters Ven Zalo, who surround the pair with active lightsabers. As planned, the shuttle violently crashes through the temple entrance, smashing through old stone columns before finally coming to rest a short distance behind Malgus. The shuttle's boarding ramp lowers, revealing another cloaked figure who proceeds to ignite a red lightsaber. Taking a few steps forward, the darkness behind him is illuminated by the activation of over 20 more blades of crimson energy. These Sith warriors, led by Lord Adras, pour from the shuttle, charging the Jedi Knights in a battle that quickly overtakes the temple's entrance hall. A series of Jedi and Sith fall in the battle as Daru fires at Jedi from the Sith Lord's side before taking cover behind a still-standing pillar. Vizsla moves through the temple with her jetpack, mowing down temple guards attempting to assist the besieged Jedi with rockets and flamethrowers. Malgus cuts down numerous Jedi with his lightsaber, striking at others with streams of force lightning, and simply lifting and throwing another Jedi with his bare hand. Ven Zalo, who had fought with Malgus prior to the shuttle crash, slams the female Twi'lek into a down column with a forced push before rushing to attack Malgus directly. Shortly after, a Sith warrior crushes the floor around him, flinging guards away. Meanwhile, Malgus manhandles two nearby Jedi just before Zalo meets him. The two then clash in a duel through the chaotic battle still being waged around them. When Zalo leans backward to avoid a deadly swing, Malgus kicks him several feet back through the air. Zalo takes the ever so brief intermission from their duel to strike down two advancing Sith warriors. Malgus throws his lightsaber, which Zalo leaps over, only to be struck by a powerful force push that throws him through a piece of the collapsed rubble. Malgus summons his airborne lightsaber back to his hand while leaping over the debris, attempting to impale Zalo as he lies on the ground. The Jedi, however, recovers quickly from the impact and manages to avoid the Sith Lord's lethal blow by jumping clear. He strikes back at Malgus with a vicious series of fast-paced strikes, stunning the Sith Lord with an elbow to the face. When his next swing misses and he spins to gather momentum for another strike, Malgus rushes in and impales Zalo through the torso, stating that the Jedi had been deceived by the Sith, and because of that deception, the Republic will fall. Defeated, the Jedi Master falls to his knees as Malgus turns away, deactivating his lightsaber. In his final moments, the Master stares out at the burning cityscape as Sith starfighters fly overhead. Sith war droid Mark IIs march up the temple steps, and Sith warships loom in the distant sky. He pitches forward onto the ground as the starfighters unleash a barrage of laser cannon fire on the temple and the surrounding district, pillars of thick smoke rising into the air. Malgus walks out of the temple as spires and statues collapse behind him, raising his hood as the temple is engulfed in flames. You can see that cutscene if you go under cinematic. Yeah. I already did that at this, before I started playing as the Jedi Knight, and then again before I started playing as the Sith warrior. But this is to try and recap everything.